The forbidden place. Behind the Taoist compound, beyond a narrow path choked with weeds and ancient stone, lay a place Min was never meant to see. It was a mountain cave hidden behind layers of illusion formations. To ordinary eyes, it was nothing more than a steep cliff face overgrown with moss. Even Min, who had lived in the compound for years, had passed by it countless times without sensing anything unusual. Zhang Buk made sure of that. The cave was sealed not by iron gates, but by talismans soaked in blood and inscribed with twisted characters. Yin and yang energies clashed violently within, forming a barrier that suppressed spiritual perception. It was a forbidden place, the core of Zhang Buk's true cultivation. And one day, Min was finally led there. Zhang Buk brought him to the cave under the pretense of concern. "You are growing," the old master said calmly. "Your yang energy is becoming harder to control. If we do not guide it properly, your body will collapse." Min believed him. The entrance to the cave was narrow, exhaling cold, damp air that smelled faintly of blood and incense ash. The moment Min stepped inside, he felt a chill crawl up his spine. The young energy within him stirred uneasily, as if sensing danger. The deeper they went, the heavier the air became. Then Min saw them. 4 women were chained to stone pillars deep within the cave. Their bodies were thin, their faces pale, yet each possessed an otherworldly beauty that no human could replicate. Their eyes glowed faintly in the darkness, golden, crimson, emerald, and icy blue. They were not human. They were female spirits, demonic cultivators, sealed and bound. Min froze. Zhang Buk spoke before fear could turn into questions. "They are demons I captured years ago," he said calmly. "Creatures of excessive yin. If left alone, your yang energy will burn you alive. But by guiding it into them, balance can be achieved." The explanation sounded reasonable, logical, safe. Zhang Buk had always taught that yin and yang must balance. Min swallowed his fear and nodded. He did not see the faint smile hidden behind his master's beard. From that day on, Min was brought to the cave regularly. Zhang Buk instructed him to sit at the center of the formation, while the 4 female demons were positioned at the cardinal points. Talismans glowed, arrays activated, and spiritual energy flowed like invisible currents through the air. Min felt his yang energy being drawn outward. At first, it was only warmth, then exhaustion. The female demons reacted differently. Their eyes brightened, their breathing deepened, color slowly returned to their lips. Each session left them visibly stronger, more alive. Zhang Buk told Min this was necessary. "You are saving them," he said, "and they, in turn, are saving you." Min endured the sessions, despite the growing weakness in his limbs. Every time he collapsed afterward, barely able to stand, Zhang Buk would carry him back, feed him medicine, and praise his perseverance. Min felt proud. He thought he was doing something meaningful, but the truth within the cave was far darker. Zhang Buk was not merely releasing Min's yang energy, he was harvesting it. The 4 female demons were not being helped, they were being fattened. Their yin bodies absorbed the yang essence until their demonic cores stabilized and matured. Each of them represented a different yin attribute, carefully chosen to complement the 9 yang constitution. They were not prisoners, they were components. Every session refined them further, bringing them closer to the state required for Zhang Buk's ultimate goal, the body-seizing ritual. Min was the source. As months passed, strange changes began to occur. Lu Min's dreams became filled with whispers and unfamiliar emotions. Sometimes he sensed sorrow, anger, or longing that did not belong to him. When he looked into the eyes of the chained women, he occasionally saw something flicker: pain, resentment, and at times pity. One of them spoke to him for the first time. "Do you know why you are here?" she asked softly. Lu Min hesitated. "To help, to balance yin and yang." Her lips curved into a bitter smile. "That is what he told you." Before she could say more, talismans flared, and Jongbuk's voice echoed through the cave, silencing her completely. After that, Lu Min was warned never to speak with them again. "They are demons," Jongbuk said. "Their words poison the heart." Lu Min obeyed, but doubt had already been planted. What Lu Min could not see was Jongbuk's true preparations. Hidden beneath the main formation was a deeper array carved directly into the stone. Ancient runes intersected like veins, designed to reverse souls and overwrite consciousness. The 4 demons were positioned not merely to absorb energy, but to act as anchors during the Bao final ritual. When the time came, their yin cores would suppress Lu Min's soul, while Jongbuk's spirit descended into the 9 yang body. The balance Jongbuk preached was a lie. What he sought was domination. The cave grew heavier with each passing month. The demons grew stronger, Lu Min grew weaker, and Jongbuk grew closer to his goal. Yet within the cave, something unexpected began to form. Lu Min's repeated exposure to conflicting energies sharpened his spiritual sensitivity. He began to sense the distortions in the formations, the hidden layers beneath what he was shown. His yang energy, forced and refined repeatedly, became denser, more dangerous. Without realizing it, he was changing, and so were the demons. They were no longer mindless captives. They remembered who they were, who had imprisoned them, and what they were being turned into. The forbidden cave was no longer just a prison, it was a powder keg, waiting for the moment when one spark, one act of defiance, would cause everything to collapse. Jongbuk did not notice this. He believed his control was absolute. After all, the vessel had been raised in obedience. The demons were bound in chains, and the ritual was nearly complete. Or so he thought. The first crack in Lu Min's faith appeared without warning. It did not come from pain or betrayal, but from a voice, soft, restrained, and laced with a sorrow that felt far too real to be an illusion. Her name was Su Ling. She was one of the 4 female demons imprisoned in the forbidden mountain cave. Unlike the others, whose gazes burned with hatred or madness, Su Ling's eyes were calm, almost weary. Her demonic aura was subdued, as though she had long since stopped struggling against her chains. Lu Min noticed her because she was the only one who never looked at him as prey. The opportunity came on a night when Jongbuk was delayed in returning to the cave. The formations weakened slightly, talismans flickering as the flow of energy faltered. Lu Min felt it immediately. His yang energy surged, colliding violently with the yin currents around him. Instinctively, he steadied his breathing, just as his master had taught him. That was when Su Ling spoke. "Do you know why you are still alive?" she asked quietly. Lu Min stiffened. He glanced toward the cave entrance, his heart pounding. "You should not speak," he whispered. "My master." "Your master," Su Ling interrupted gently, "is the reason you will die." Her words struck harder than any blade. Lu Min shook his head. "You are lying. He saved me." Su Ling smiled faintly, but there was no mockery in it, only pity. "Yes," she said, "he saved you so that he could kill you later." Su Ling did not speak in riddles. She spoke with cruel clarity. She told Lu Min that Zhang Buku had never intended to let him live a full life. From the moment he was taken from the village, his fate had been sealed. Zhang Buk needed him, alive, not as a disciple, not as a son, but as a vessel. "A body like yours cannot be grown quickly," Su Ling said. "It must be nurtured, stabilized, and refined. That is what he has been doing all these years." Lu Min felt his chest tighten. Memories flooded his mind. The monthly blood rituals, the constant exhaustion, the forbidden cave, the 4 imprisoned demons. All of it suddenly felt wrong. Su Ling continued, her voice steady. "When the time is right, he will seize your body and overwrite your soul. What remains of you will be erased." Lu Min's breath came in shallow gasps. "Why would he do this?" he asked hoarsely. "Because his own body is dying," Su Ling replied, "and because the 9-yang constitution is the only thing that can save him." Then she revealed something even more disturbing. "Have you noticed what your master refuses to eat?" she asked. Lu Min hesitated. He had noticed, but never questioned it. Zhang Buk avoided food rich in yin energy. He never touched cold meats, fermented foods, or ingredients associated with yin qi. Even during winter, he drank only warming teas and consumed meals infused with yang herbs. "He is afraid of yin," Su Ling said quietly, "because his body can no longer endure it." Years of forbidden cultivation had hollowed Zhang Buk from the inside out. His meridians were fractured, his spiritual foundation decayed. Yin energy, once essential to balance his cultivation, now threatened to tear him apart completely. "That is why he drinks your blood," Su Ling said. "It sustains him. It keeps his body from collapsing before the ritual is complete." Lu Min's vision blurred. He remembered how his master always looked healthier after each monthly ritual, how the trembling in his hands lessened, how his breathing grew steadier. It had never been coincidence. "You are not his disciple," Su Ling said softly. "You are his medicine." Silence fell between them. Lu Min wanted to scream, to deny everything. But deep down, something inside him had already accepted the truth. The kindness, the teachings, the care, all of it suddenly felt calculated. After that night, Lu Min began to doubt, not openly, not recklessly. He had survived this long by being obedient. If Zhang Buku sensed rebellion, the end would come swiftly. So Lu Min learned to lie. He continued to bow, to thank his master, to endure the rituals without complaint. But behind his lowered gaze, his mind worked tirelessly. He began to observe. He watched the way Zhang Buk's eyes lingered on his body, not with pride, but with hunger. He noticed how his master's mood improved after consuming the blood ritual. He paid attention to the subtle changes in the formations within the cave, how they were not designed to protect him, but to restrain him. At night, Lu Min secretly studied the Taoist texts he had once read without question. He compared them to the formations carved in the cave walls. The discrepancies were glaring. This was not balance, this was preparation. Lu Min also began to test the truth of Su Ling's words. He deliberately introduced yin-heavy foods into his master's meals, disguising them carefully. Each time, Zhang Buk became irritable, his complexion darkening, his breathing uneven. Once, he nearly lost control of his aura entirely. That was the moment Lu Min knew. Su Ling had not lied. From that day on, Min stopped seeing himself as a disciple. He saw himself as prey. Yet fear did not consume him. If anything, it sharpened him. Min began to investigate in secret, memorizing formations, tracking the flow of energy, and quietly strengthening his own control over the 9 yang power within him. He practiced breathing techniques at night, condensing his yang energy instead of releasing it entirely. Each small act of defiance carried immense risk, but doing nothing meant certain death. Suling had opened his eyes. Now Min understood that the greatest danger was not the forbidden cave, nor the imprisoned demons. It was the man he had called master for most of his life. And when the time came, Min knew he would have to choose: remain a vessel or become an enemy.